We are live. Hey guys, it is Wednesday. It is Wednesday. I am Texas Garden Guy, and this is the Garden Party. Hit it, Phil.
Whoa! This is the garden party, and we wanna go to party with you. What's the next chord? We talk about the plants we grow and some things we might not know. The garden party. Oh, nailed
Excellent,
it.
Phil. Excellent, dude. Excellent.
That's pretty good.
Thank y'all, everybody, for joining us. I'm on the road, so you got some ukulele Phil today.
Ukulele.
Phil, how are you doing, dude? What's going on?
Oh my gosh, I'm having the best fig weather right this whole week. Also, what up, everybody? It's your favorite plant parent, regular parent, juggling the two, getting my fig on. This, like, we had all this, like, hot, humid summer heat in North Carolina, and it, like, broke. So we get, like, 3 falls. We get 2 false falls and 1 regular fall, and we're hitting our second false fall, and it's been sunny for, like, 6 days straight. 80s, dry. My figs are hanging on the tree. I got a bird feeder that the squirrels have been flocking to, leaving my figs alone, which is crazy. And some of the figs I'm getting, guys, are the best I've had in years, probably. Not a huge abundance, but it's been pretty fun to harvest some of the new varieties too. So big win in the fig world over here.
It's
Nice.
exciting, man. That's
Yeah.
exciting. Well, happy to hear about figs. And for those of y'all who are fig people, we will be having a fig-tastic episode coming up in mid-September. I'll announce that. We'll have some fig specials, some configliaries, figologists.
Configliaries.
What's
It's the best one.
what's the figology? Josh, what is going on, dude? How you doing, brother?
Good. I'm just getting the technical side of my plant techie going today. We're streaming live for the first time on my channel as well. So we're broadening the reach. I'm super excited to bring this out to an even bigger audience. So really looking forward to seeing. It looks like it's working, but yes. So squirrels are my nemesis. And I think Phil, we've talked about that. Destin, we talked. Resh, I'm not sure if you're a squirrel lover or a squirrel hater, but every day I go out and I find the apples that they decided not to take, and I feel like that's an offering to me. So I walk every morning. I walk out. I pick up some apples on the ground that they're like, I don't think I want that one, and that's the ones I get to take inside. I'm really privileged to have so much fruit that they've decided to leave for me. So I've been eating fresh apples off the ground every day this week.
Thankfully, they're not ground apples. They're regular apples.
But here is the real question: when you walk outside and pick up the apples, do you look up at the squirrels within your hand and you go, "How about them apples?" Do you say that to the squirrels?
You only have to do that in Massachusetts.
Well,
Oh my God.
happy to have y'all on, and we have a returning guest, one of our favorites, Miss Resh Gala. How are you doing, Resh?
Hey, Destin. I am doing great. And thank you so much for having me. And hi, Josh. Hi, Phil. I'm so happy to be here. And yeah, doing good. It's been a long summer, but time flies, I guess. So happy to be back.
It is. Today was the first day that felt like fall to me. I was, Houston is going to be hot until December, but I was north in like the Dallas area, and I don't know what it is, but it reminded me when like I was in Montgomery and like Birmingham, Alabama, like where I was seeing mums and hydrangeas. I guess they're kind of in a similar zone, but I was seeing like the mums and the hydrangeas and like Japanese maples. We cannot grow Japanese maples in Houston. They just suffocate and die. But like it felt like fall today. It was so nice. How is the weather up there where you're at, Grish? Are you in I always forget, are you in New Jersey?
I am in
Yes.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
And it's already, the nighttime temperatures have already fallen to 52, 53 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh,
The
wow.
daytime is beautiful, like 78, 76, so it's perfect. It doesn't feel like fall other than in the morning. I like to usually go on runs every morning. So that's when you really feel that coolness. You have to, put on a jacket and zip up and things like that. But it's gorgeous weather. I'm enjoying it a lot. And I've, planted out my fall garden already. So super excited for that. This year, as you know, from, the last time we spoke, we moved to a new house. And then I think I was so busy with installing gardens for some of the clients that I didn't have time to build out my own garden in time for tomato season. So unfortunately, I missed the beautiful planting season for tomatoes, eggplants, and all that. But I recently, just about 3 weeks ago or so, got my fall garden planted. So super excited and excited for the upcoming cooler weather.
That's so
Yeah.
exciting. I was telling people last episode that, I think spring gardening is overrated. Fall and winter gardening are, at least in for me, like they're people who have trouble growing in the spring, they need to start growing in the fall. Like, is it the same way up there for y'all?
It is absolutely the same way. I feel that too, because I guess when the weather gets cooler, we have so much less pest pressure. It's unbelievable. I mean, the whole summer, you're just, sick and tired. By the time July even rolls around, you barely started harvesting tomatoes, and you just get sick and tired of battling all the aphids and whiteflies and the squash bugs and all those sort of things. But once the temperature starts getting colder, the pest pressure reduces so dramatically that I personally think fall and winter gardening and season extension is the way to go, especially if, for everybody, of course, but especially if you're in the north as well, northeast, like I am. It's extremely rewarding. And I'm sure for you in Houston, it must be amazing to grow in fall because it's not so hot, right?
Well, it's probably the only time. It's really the only time that we can grow, like our brassicas and stuff, like fall going into winter, just because you can do stuff in in the spring. It just gets hot so quick.
Yeah,
I know one of your favorite things to grow is kale,
yeah.
and it is probably the only time I can grow kale is October, November, going forward,
Oh,
because
wow.
it just goes to seed so fast. If it's grown in the heat, it tastes really bitter. It's not super tasty when it's hot, um and cabbage, especially cabbage, will go to seed. Pretty much all the brassicas. It's
Wow.
just it's tough. It's just tough with that.
Yeah,
Josh,
I grow kale pretty much year round actually. Because I think kale and some of the brassicas actually, if you grow them in the shade of some of the taller plants like tomatoes or other veggies, you can get away with having them last a little longer before they bolt. And especially the curly kale variety, like blue curl Scotch kale, that actually doesn't bolt as fast as the Toscano kale, for instance. I mean, just
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, that's what I've
Hmm.
noticed. I don't know.
yeah. Well,
But
And it's
it,
not
it, it,
it's not too cold through the winter there for kale. It makes it
it,
through all the way.
it
Do you
loves the
cover it?
cold. It loves the
so
cold.
kale loves the cold weather. I do cover my plants with like the farm grade plastic, especially when the temperatures are like literally below 28 degrees Fahrenheit. But it might look like it's dead. You also mulch with either dried leaves or compost, mushroom compost, things like that. And so it might look like it's like by December and January, it'll look like it's dead on top. The foliage is like brown and dead. But if the root systems are alive, come March, when spring comes, literally kale, spinach, fall planted cilantro, even those are fun, few of the first things that actually grow back. When I've planted them in fall, these are the first things that grow back in spring without me having to plant anything in my garden, which is just amazing. Yeah. Even though we
Eh,
have temperatures which fall as low as single digit Fahrenheit, it still
oh
grows
yeah.
back. So, yeah.
Probably like the best trick or hack I can tell people if they do want to grow stuff like spinach and kale and stuff like that in the spring going to summer is harvesting it really early.
Yeah.
Harvesting because I mean I like baby spinach, baby kale. Like I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Even microgreens is a cool way. You do a lot of, so people that don't know, you do a lot of like turnkey garden installs. So, like you design people's backyard gardens and you have a
Yeah.
company that goes out. Can you talk to them about a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, my company is called 100 Tomatoes. We're almost coming up to 5 years now, which is amazing. I'm so excited
Oh.
about that. Very happy about that. So, what we do is we design and install organic gardens, but very bespoke gardens, which elevate the style and the aesthetic of your homes. I think a lot of people have this misconception in their head that a vegetable garden is this ugly patch, of drying, dead, diseased plants that has to be relegated to some corner of your backyard, really far away, hidden from the house. But we want to change that mentality, where we want to bring in a lot of beauty and aesthetics by combining vegetables and fruits with a lot of herbs and flowers to create a beautiful sensory experience, along with architectural, sculptural trellises for the plants to grow. So it's not just your, traditional tomato cages that are like literally falling over with the weight of the tomatoes. So something that's cultural and beautiful, that adds to the aesthetic of your home and creates this amazing food paradise, essentially. So that's what we do for our clients here. So primarily, my company, we design and install gardens, and I have a team of people. We have carpenters who build like custom raised beds in different sizes, in our signature look with trim on top and the corners. And of course, we line them at the bottom with hardware cloth, so the gophers and the rats and the voles can't dig in from underneath. We also do fencing. We do drip irrigation, lighting. We also have, people who would build these custom trellises and things like that. If, some clients, they want that. And a lot of them, based upon the aesthetic of our client, we would give them a selection of what kind of, non-toxic, food-safe stain they would want for their raised bed to match their home. The gravel, for example, we could use anything from white marble chips to an ocean pebble to something much darker. So everything is very bespoke and attractive. And then you, of course, have the joy of growing food alongside with the flowers and the herbs. So that creates this natural pest control system as well, like companion planting, so to speak. So that's what we do.
That's really awesome. I know, Josh, you were trying. She was using the hardware cloth, and your eyes are like that. Josh has been having some burrowing rodent issues. Am I right, Josh?
Yeah, I did not put in hardware cloth, and I had really tall raised beds. They were like 31 inches. I was like, there's no way they'll burrow all the way up to there. And then first time it's happened in like 3 years of having them, but just one by one, my carrots were like, it was like Bugs Bunny, like pulling them out and left little holes. So I've got to dig them out, put some hardware cloth. Or there was a product I was looking at, I don't know if you've heard of it, called Permatil, which is like this rocky substrate that they won't eat through. So I was thinking about like mixing that into the soil to see this year if it would deter them. But I want to know, where did you get the name 100 Tomatoes? I'm just curious.
So it's basically it's a story about my ode to tomatoes. So I'm a self-taught gardener, and the first time, just like most ordinary people, like all of us, we go in spring and see all these garden centers flush with seedlings and plants. And so I got tempted a couple of years ago to go out and buy myself 2 tomato plants. Completely miserably failed at growing anything except for 2 tomatoes, which had blossom and rot. I was so basically so ignorant about how to grow anything, to the point where I didn't even know that I had to transplant that out of the pot into, a larger container, things like that. So I just like left it on my shaded patio in those small little pots. Obviously nothing grew. So you can imagine, it's complete disaster that year. And I was like, I was confused. I said, how can it be so hard when my friends are like harvesting zucchini and, sharing all that stuff? And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. So the next year, I did a little bit of research, and I saw everybody kept talking about raised beds, so you need more soil. So I hired a landscaper, and we built out just 4 really small raised beds, which is about 2 feet by 3 feet each in dimension, literally. And he put in like the worst construction quality soil in there. I'm sorry, this is a long story.
Oh, you're good.
I like this.
And so, I guess the thing is, it's one of those things you can either persist or you can give up. And oftentimes people tend to give up because they feel, oh, I have a brown thumb, this isn't for me, forget it. But I think it's just about persistence, because nobody starts doing anything knowing everything, correct? we all have to learn in order to get better. And so I think one of the stories is that I persisted despite all of this, learned how to compost, started building my own raised beds. And so my company is called 100 Tomatoes because I went from two of those rotten tomatoes in the beginning to then growing hundreds of tomatoes, which is when my third year of gardening, which I had almost like 150-pound tomato harvest, which is just insane. So yeah, it was just crazy. So going from not knowing anything to learning along the way, and we're constantly learning. So my company is called 100 Tomatoes.
I love that. I love
That's
that.
so cool.
Yeah, and I would say like tomatoes are probably the first thing. I mean, I think that's probably most. I would say 95% of people who try to garden for the first time are growing tomatoes, and probably one of the mistakes people make the first time when they're buying tomatoes is buying too many tomato plants and
Yeah.
getting overwhelmed and getting frustrated when they get stuff like blossom and rot. Um, it's good. You have a book too talking about the basic gardening stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's really good.
Thank
Um,
you.
it's
Yeah.
really awesome. Yes.
I have it
Um,
too. It's a great book. In fact,
Thank you.
Adding it to my Amazon
yes.
cart right now.
Thank
Yes.
you.
If Josh, I'm on my iPad. If you can, will you put the link for the Amazon for
Yeah,
her book? And
absolutely.
um,
Thank you.
yes, it's a really, and you got some recipes in there as well. Um,
Yes.
and so you moved from your old garden to your new home. What is so you're more out in the country now, right?
No, it's,
No, no.
I wish. I mean, I tell my husband I could easily, he's like, okay, you go from a small, like we were in a townhouse before this. So I had a really, really tight backyard. Like this picture that you see right here, this is my old garden in my townhouse. And it was just 84 square feet of growing space, which is literally nothing, like four raised beds that are 4 by 4 and two raised beds that were 2 feet by 5 feet. That is what I had. And so, like you were saying, people tend to buy a lot of tomato plants and they start big. And I'm actually, trying to tell people you should start small so you don't feel overwhelmed. And I think all of us in life, we all need that one success. It's just that one success we have, doesn't matter in what, even if it is like what I'm doing, if it's running every day for 1 mile, you don't have to run a marathon on day one. It's doing those little things and getting those small little victories that you grab onto that helps you build and climb and do more. So I guess I started out with just that small townhouse backyard garden, and before that, of course, it was the two tomatoes in a container. And now I have which I just built out my garden. We finished building it, I would say, in August, like beginning of August, end of July. So my garden is now 50 feet by 34 feet. So it's massive.
Ooh,
I have 14 raised beds, which I'm very excited about.
that's
And so
awesome.
yeah, so I wish I was in the country because my husband's like, are you going to buy like goats and chickens and stuff? And I'm like, I'm not there yet. The keyword
Right?
is yet.
Yes. Well,
But
and so
but
you have a lot, but
maybe.
yeah,
maybe,
maybe. Well, and so but you have a lot more space. I mean, I get the comment all the time, like, "Hey, when are you going to buy property? When are you going to buy property?" And I always tell people, like, you don't have to have a ton of property. It's
yep,
about using the space that you have efficiently. So
absolutely.
what are you learning going from a smaller space to a bigger space? Are you are you spacing stuff out bigger? Like what are you learning now going from a small space to a big space?
So I think one of my signature styles of planting is planting really densely and intensively. And so even though I have like so many more raised beds, I love packing in the plants and putting them all together in a combination of plants. Basically, you want to, at the end of the day, mimic nature as much as possible for easy gardening and for maximum success. And when you go out in nature, you don't have just one type of plant in any one forest. You have the trees that provide the canopy, you have the shrubs, the understory, and you have the moss and a wide variety of plants growing. And so you want to think of your raised bed, even if it's the one raised bed, in a similar way, where you have the tall plants growing alongside the shorter plants, lettuces growing in the shade of broccoli, for example, herbs growing all along the corners, for fragrance and pest control, sort of like chess, and pawns on a chessboard. So basically, the thing is that every raised bed, I still like to pack it intensively, but now I have so much more space to grow a different variety and experiment more. So, for example, I just got today a delivery of saffron. So I'm going to be planting that in my garden tomorrow.
Whoa.
So,
Nice.
you have space so you can experiment a lot more. I guess that's basically the thing. It's not about spacing it out more or that growing more food. And sometimes, if you have space, of course, you can grow a lot more if you have goals such as canning and production, or, providing for a family of four, being self-sustaining. And instead of relying on the grocery stores, of course, those are great things to do. But yeah, I like to pack in the plants as much as possible.
Are you having pressure from like deer or anything like that? Do y'all have deer in in that area in New Jersey?
I think the New Jersey, I would say people's pets should be a deer. It should be the literally the state animal of New Jersey, because the deer are everywhere. And
They're
so
insane in New Jersey.
What's that, Phil?
Well, I grew up out in Pennsylvania, so and I had a
Yeah.
lot of friends in New Jersey too, and I thought there was a lot in Pennsylvania, and then I went to New Jersey, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
literally there's
it's
so
insane.
many. It's insane. I mean, it's insane. You can see them, like literally we see them every day crossing the road, like literally. But yeah, so I do have to have a fenced in vegetable garden. Without a fence, it would be impossible. I know that they would like gobble up everything. And like, yeah, just getting back to the whole thing about squirrels that, both you, Josh, and you, Phil, were talking about the squirrels.
Yeah.
If one animal finds your garden, the whole family's coming, like Ratatouille style.
Oh yeah, they tell their friends and
Exactly.
neighbors and extended family, and you're like, what is happening? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what size fence do you put in? What do you recommend for that area when you do them?
So for deer, you want to have a minimum of 6 feet high, the fence to be minimum 6 feet high. Ideally, you can have it as tall as even 7 to 8 feet. But I found that, when it's as tall as that, it then ends up looking like a fortress. And you don't want to go to your garden where you feel like you're going into this prison for plants, that's no good. There's so many clients who want a garden with a fence, and they're like, Resh, we should be covering on top as well. I'm like, no, that's a jail. That's not a garden.
Yes.
It's
Because
not a
you
garden,
want to,
yeah.
allow the pollinators to come in. You want the birds to come in, and that's important too. But yeah, the main animals, especially in New Jersey, it's a deer. So we do a double fencing method, where we not only use like a 1 inch by 1 inch fencing wire, so that kind of prevents the deer from getting in, but we also line all the way from underneath, I would say 1.5, 2 feet under the ground to above the ground, about 4 feet above the ground, with hardware cloth wrapped around that fencing material, because we want to prevent those squirrels and
Right.
the chipmunks and the animals from getting in. So that's like a 1/4 inch hardware cloth. It's really small. So that kind of really works out, because sometimes when they're trying to climb, their claws and their feet kind of get stuck. So
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Someone had told me that I think we might have talked about this last time, where I think we talk about deer and fencing every time we come on, because it's such a topic. Like,
Yeah.
because we did a fall garden talk this past Saturday, and people were asking about deer resistant plants, and I'm telling, if they're hungry enough, there's nothing that's deer resistant. They'll eat anything.
They will eat anything, but for people, if there are any, listeners out there today and they want to know, like a lot of herbs like rosemary, lavender, even, they're deer resistant, thyme as well. So I like, for
Really?
example, yeah. So I always grow rosemary on my front porch and by my front door, not only because it's like good feng shui and all that stuff, but it's deer resistant. So the deer won't eat it. It's amazing.
I wonder why they won't eat it, because it's edible and it smells. I wonder if this the fragrance, all the fragrance throws them off or what.
I suppose it might be the fragrance, it might be the flavor. But yeah, a lot of the woody herbs, usually they don't go for those. But for sure, I know lavender and rosemary is a good thing. If you want to get started, you can start with the woody herbs.
Now,
Right.
they will eat figs, and I had that deer for
Yes.
the first time. I
Yes.
thought they were deer resistant, and I put a bunch out in my pasture beyond my 6-foot fence, and it was like feeding season. They just devoured all the new growth off of those huge fig trees,
Which
too.
I
They
find
were-
so
they were big.
fascinating because of the
The latex.
latex.
Yeah, I was
They're like-
shocked.
But you know, but then I hear about people making tea out of fig leaves. Like people eat fig leaves. Like
Yeah, I really want to make fig leaf tea.
Somebody
Yeah.
said it
Apparently
tastes like
pretty good.
vanilla. Is that true, Phil? Like people are saying it's like that. I don't know.
Who
if
was
that's-
just
wow.
talking with? I saw a post. I reposted that you can make like a sweetener syrup that's like a vanilla-y syrup. And my friend Healing Motions, he did it and he said it worked. So I have to give it a
Oh.
chance.
That's coal.
A
We
multi-
tried
for-
something back to deer real quick because that's a hot topic here. So here in South Carolina, we do have a local state park orchard area, and they put in 2 4-foot fences, only 4 feet tall, but about 3 feet apart because the deer have such poor depth perception. They
Yep.
won't jump across if they don't think they can make the whole distance.
Yep.
That's
So
what
the
I was
whole
gonna ask. Yeah.
Double distance fence. Have you tried
Oh.
that up there? Has that worked?
That definitely works. I know one of my clients had that double fence. The deer didn't get through, but I believe she had a groundhog that did. So that was that was unfortunate, So, but the deer definitely, you are absolutely right. If you have a double fence, then they're afraid to jump over it because they feel like they're going to get trapped and unstuck, basically.
Yeah.
That is probably one of my favorite Instagram channels. It's called Chunk the Groundhog, and it's that guy up in New England, and he has a game camera, and it's literally just a groundhog that comes and eats his tomatoes every day, and it stands right in front of the camera. It's probably my favorite Instagram channel. I love that so much.
He must be picking up the tomatoes and saying, "Thank you for leaving them for me."
Yes. Well, and they're big, aren't they? Groundhogs are huge, aren't they?
They're big.
Yeah.
They're like they can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because in Pennsylvania we had them big.
we don't have them down here. I don't think. I don't see them. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Punxsutawney Phil or whatever from
Yeah,
Groundhog Day.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, since this is technically the first podcast of fall, I want to go around and talk about like our favorite fall vegetables to grow. We did discuss last week that fall gardening is like spring gardening. You can pretty much grow a lot of things in the fall that you grew in the spring if you got them. Probably started from seed starts, from transplants. But we'll start off with you, Phil. Like, what is your favorite besides figs? What is your favorite fall crop?
Well, a lot of my fall crops. This is cool. We touched on this earlier about how all these awesome fall crops can like carry into the winter. And so like I'm a big brassica guy, so all my different kales, and then I can grow them now and I can have them. I'm supposed to be growing collards because of where I am now in the south, and they're awesome. They are really tasty. So I'm going to do that as well, but I'm really looking forward to bok choy and pak choy. And so I want to grow those as well. And have that nice long fall of harvest. Carrots are going in the mix too. Who knows? Maybe I throw broccoli in there.
Pak choy and bok choy grow pretty quick too.
Yeah.
They grow. They
my
mature
biggest
pretty quickly.
practice this year was I signed up for the Haas Seed of the Month Club, was succession planting. And so I really wanted to dial in succession planting in North Carolina because I didn't grow up here. So like I had to adapt to like a spring growing season. And like if I didn't get my kale started early, there's a nice window in the spring where my kales were fine. My leafy greens were fine. But then the bugs would get to them and then they'd bolt. And so a lot of times I just chop the top off and then they would come. Sometimes they'd wake up in the fall off of their stump. But now that I have these new varieties, I learned to take like the hot months for hot growing things. And then the fall, I'm actually doing a second round of tomatoes right now.
I saw that.
I just put them in the
soil
ground.
blocks, right?
From soil blocks. I made 90 of them. So what am I supposed to do? So half of them are at my office right now being given away. And I'm hoping that I can get some fall tomatoes, and then right after I grab those, I got the fall greens and root vegetables coming in. So who will see?
Is it tatsoi? Is the Chinese spinach the tatsoi? I've grown that as well before, and it does pretty well. But it's
Ooh.
like it's along this because I know what pak choi and bok choy are like Chinese cabbage, and the tatsoi kind of grows more like spinach. Um,
Do you know
those are
what
all
grows like
really good ones.
spinach all 4 months of the year? No problem. Sorrel. Sorrel with
Sorrel.
no problem. Or sorrel. Did I say it wrong? It's like
Well, probably
yes.
the one with the red,
So
the reddish veins, right? The
sometimes
green.
it has reddish. The ones I had, it's almost more lemony.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it kind
the
of grows in a
yellow and
bush.
red, almost green, yellow, red, sort of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it grew all 4 months I could harvest it. So
Is it like um that
it looks like a spinach, but it's like
arugula?
a
Is it
bunch. It kind
does
of
it
looks
taste
over
like
like rockets, like arugula.
is it
But yeah,
peppery like arugula? Is it peppery like
a little
that?
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I like
I've heard
arugula.
of
It's just a little bit
I've
goes a
heard of
long
doing
way.
arugula beds too. And like just like scattering in arugula and just having a nice thick bed of it all the time. You just kind of sprinkle seeds and get it regoing. My thing with Resh is that I always try to appreciate when I look at is the abundance you get in your small space. Like no one has any idea how small a space you had. And you're like, this is my haul. And you're like, that is a grocery store. Like what's happening? But it's nice to hear your journey, like from the 2 tomato plants to that, because I did the same with like anyone who's stuck it out in the gardening world has gone through those iterations. So it's nice to hear everyone's
100%.
backstory.
And I think that's what makes us appreciate it and love the garden so much more, right? Because we
Right.
know how difficult it's been in the beginning, and so we appreciate all the harvest that we do get. And for me, like you were saying, you said sorrel for you. For me, it's been Swiss chard, which is almost like a
Oh
replacement
yeah.
to spinach, and that grows, all season long. And it's a cousin of the beetroot, technically, so to speak. Beetroot, you get the roots, Swiss chard is more the leaves. But I make literally almost, I would say, once a week. I grow Swiss chard. I never used to like the taste of it because, it has a very predominant beetroot type of a flavor,
Mhm.
the stem and the leaves. So I wasn't like crazy about it because spinach is spinach. So one of my favorite things to grow now is Swiss chard because I make this most amazing Swiss chard flatbreads with apples and mozzarella cheese. It's so good. Oh my God,
Oh
you
my
guys
gosh.
have to make it. Like, have to. Get Swiss chard from the grocery store
All
even if you need to. But literally, I get like a garlic naan flatbread. And you get that at any grocery store. You can just get a regular flatbread as well. Load it up with like chopped Swiss chard, like, just shred it up. Put in
Yep.
Swiss chard on top of your flatbread. Then put in sliced apples. You can do red or green, whichever you like. Sprinkle with some mozzarella cheese, salt and pepper. Pop it in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. 20 to 25 minutes, becomes crispy and nice. Get it out of there, cut it into little pieces, drizzle a little balsamic. Ooh, the best.
Oh man.
Quick.
I literally am writing this down as you're
You got
talking
it.
this out loud. I'm like, this is such a
Anybody
hack.
watching, make your notes.
Oh my goodness.
It's like a little flat bread pizza or something. I mean,
It's like a
that
pizza.
sounds
It's
good.
literally like a pizza. My kids love it so much, and it's so healthy because it's loaded with all these greens from your garden and apples, of course. So it's really tasty. Yeah.
And and
Nice.
and for those of y'all that haven't already, go order her book. She has recipes in her book as well, and I'm sure she's already probably working on her second book, if not already.
I have to. I'm hoping that I could work on a second book potentially. This year has been just setting up this massive garden, which was truly such a huge undertaking. If you ask me what went wrong, I think that could be a whole different episode.
Well, we'll get to that in a second because I want to ask you some other questions about your new garden and everything. But Josh, what are you excited about most growing in your garden this fall?
Well, when it comes to harvesting, definitely persimmons. That's probably my favorite fruit. And I've got a lot of different types. In fact, today was the first day that I got a really good one off the American persimmons that grow natively here. So every day I walk my dogs down this trail, and we've got some property, and we have persimmon trees that are just fruiting. So you go, you shake the tree, and whatever falls down, that's what you eat. I take a bite. I give a bite to my dog because they love to eat the persimmons. And
Oh,
then I
really?
say, yeah, oh yeah. And you'll see it if they eat too many, because you'll see it later and the seeds come out.
Oh, oh my
Anyway.
God.
Can I ask you a question about persimmons, Josh?
Yeah, yeah.
I absolutely love persimmons. In fact, I promised myself that the first thing I'd plant in my new home would be a persimmon tree, literally. So when you talk about American persimmons, are those like the Fuyu persimmon or the Hachia persimmon? Or is it completely different?
It's
Oh, yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm excited that you even asked. It's just
Okay.
like my
Yes.
favorite
Well,
topic.
this works out so great because I was going to ask her with her new garden, is she planning on putting some fruit trees? So go ahead, Josh.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So American persimmons are much smaller, and they're astringent, meaning that if they're not perfectly ripe,
Yeah.
they're going to get that cottony taste in your mouth. And so they almost become translucent. Like that's how you know. If they're opaque, they're not quite ready. And so they're much smaller, like about this size.
Oh.
And then Asian persimmons come in astringent and non-astringent, like the Fuyu type, like you mentioned, you can eat firm and you can even slice. And they almost taste like melon to me when they're firm, very mild, not too sweet. And then they've also got astringent type. So I've got probably 8 or 10 varieties of Asian persimmons and a bunch that I've grafted onto my American persimmons that popped up natively around my property. So I'm just literally going through the woods every winter, like, let me try to graft this one over here on this one that popped up and this one over here. And so that one day I can literally walk around all winter and just pick a persimmon wherever I walk is my goal. But they are so easy to grow. They're disease resistant. They would do well in your environment. Some of the Asian ones, because what zone are you in? Are you in 7 or 6?
7A. So up until I would say last year, I was zone 6B, but then I think USDA changed the zone. So I'm now technically 7A. So I really wanted to grow them, but I wasn't sure if, the squirrels would get to them or the animals would, eat them, because I have seen, though, the foliage is like this gorgeous rust color foliage in fall. And I was like, it looks so pretty, no?
Yeah, you need to
yeah.
get a cold hardy Asian persimmon, because that 6 to 7 range is right on the border of some of them. But there are some, I forget how to pronounce it, Ichikiki Jiro or something like that. That's itchy.
Sounds about right. Sounds about
Sounds
right.
cool.
That's probably one of the cold hardy ones. That's a nice dwarf tree. That's what I would recommend. And it produces really early. But a lot of times they become sweeter. A lot of people say if they are left on the tree. So you'll lose all the leaves and the fruit will just hang there. They look like Christmas ornaments hanging on the
I
tree.
can confirm this.
Really?
I had my first persimmon. It's an astringent Japanese one. Shout out to Anthony Millennial Gardener for giving me. He grafted a Giambo onto an American rootstock, and it fruited its first year in the ground for me. And I waited till after a freeze, and it had defoliated. And you go out and it's this big neon orange thing, and I was like, all right, today's the day. And it's almost soft like tomato, like in a way when you harvest it. And you cut it open, and it was like the gooeyest, sweetest thing ever.
It's like jelly,
So
right?
it's
Inside.
100%.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and
cool.
even if you get the non-astringent ones, they still do well when it gets cold too, right, Josh?
Oh yeah, they'll hold through.
I only like the non-astringent ones. The other ones, I don't know if it's 100% ripe or not, and I have definitely been put off because of that, feeling on your tongue where you need to scrape it or something if if it's not
Yeah.
ready, right?
Ugh.
So Fuyu are my favorite,
if you-
but I have to figure out what I should grow.
If you ever want to taste a bunch of them, there's a place in Virginia I go to every year in October. It's called Edible Landscaping, and they've got 25 Asian persimmon mature trees, and they do a persimmon tasting tour where they walk you around their property, and you get to taste all the different types. And I've been there the last 2 years now, just
Wow.
because it's so cool to see all of them, matured, laden with fruit, and they've got the biggest variety on the East Coast. So
Oh my gosh. It's called Edible Landscape.
Yeah, in Virginia, Afton, Virginia.
Okay. I'm making notes.
I'm
That's
thinking
awesome.
about going up there in October to check it out again. It's
Oh,
just
wow.
been so good.
So I'm going to tell my kids we're not going pumpkin picking and apple picking. We're going to go persimmon picking.
Josh,
Oh,
looks like we had a question here from Brandy. How do persimmons do in the heat?
yeah, no, that's a great question. They do really well. The Asian ones do really well. I think the American ones do just as well. But yeah, they hold up. I mean, they don't have it. I've never had much fruit drop, which you get with other types. And they've got really thick, glossy leaves, which is nice. So they're actually designed for some hotter zones. In terms of their leaf structure and things like that. They're not, it's not like apples. You know, apples are sort of finicky when it comes to heat. Very different from that.
Just know that if you have persimmons, possums will follow.
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
Possums love persimmons.
Oh, I must be a possum.
Well,
But possums are good. I actually don't mind my possums. They don't smile
Me
very
neither.
well. They're not good smilers, but they will keep the tick population down.
I actually really enjoy possums, like just from a gardener standpoint, because they don't really like honestly, I think most of the possums that come in my yard, they're either eating the figs that drop or they're eating the ones that are like super ripe that already like popped open. It's rare that they're going after figs that I was gonna get. It's typically the ones
That
that
is so thoughtful.
yeah. I'll even
It's like
set them.
cleanup crew.
I'll even set them on the fence for them. I'll set them on the fence, like if they've got a big old peck mark from a bird, or if they're ripped open or they're full of like I get the crazy ants. Will go inside of them sometimes, like they're just full of them. I'll just stick them on top of the fence, and then I know it's a possum highway.
You
Wow.
need to set up a little security camera there so you can catch them on camera.
Dude, I know they're there. Yeah, I've got a whole video of me trapping one. I like the only thing that's bad about him is that my dog wants to mess with them, and so they've gotten into it before. But I know when there's a possum in the backyard because Duke freaks out, and so I just have to when it's ripe fig season, like right now, I have to go outside first with the flashlight, scan the fences before I let Duke out because he'll jump up on top of the fence and grab a possum, and they'll be like it'd be on Duke's back, like jumping around, like it's wild, dude. It's crazy.
Wow. That's insane. You know what? Since moving into this new house, you know what I've spotted in our backyard literally every other day? A fox.
Oh, really?
Oh, cool.
Wow.
That's good juju right there.
Is
Cool.
it?
That's awesome. I think so. They're
Okay.
like these like mystical creatures. You don't see them that often.
Like
It's good. It's for
it-
pest management. It's good for varmint.
Oh
okay.
Have you heard them cry? Because they have the craziest cries.
yeah.
Really?
No, don't.
Oh my
Are you
goodness.
serious?
You need to watch videos.
Yeah.
Of them.
You were joking because that's like what does the fox say song?
They cackle, like they like. It's weird.
Oh.
It's like a cross between like a dolphin and a. I don't know. It's a weird sound. I'll pull it up. I'll pull one up.
It's not something like from The Conjuring or something like that, right?
No, it's not
no.
scary. We get a lot of coyotes here, which they also love persimmons, and they make wild sounds in the woods. And you're like, what are they doing? Like, it must be a group of them. But yeah, foxes are like, it's like a laughing hyena meets a child, meets a monkey. It's the weirdest sound. I don't even know how to describe it.
No, I haven't heard them cry, not yet. But there is a fox that is like every day crossing our backyard every single night. We catch it on the camera and stuff. So now I'm thinking, did I really need that fence? Maybe it's keeping the deer away for all you know. But
I've never heard one howl before, but it's shocking what they sound like.
Oh, your noise filtering.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it either.
Yeah. It's the noise filtering. It's filtering it out like it's
the background noise.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Very strange, but yeah, they kind of cackle. They kind of cackle though. That's the noise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take the good juju anytime.
Good
Right.
juju.
Well,
I mean, the new garden space looks awesome though, Rash. Like,
Thank
you just
you.
like the ideas are flowing. You're like, oh my gosh, what about this and what about this? And
I think I'll be honest. I went a little overboard, I would say, went all out with it. But I have this vision where I've been gardening for so many years and I have a good number of followers and so many more clients here in the vicinity that I want to use it as a space really to bring people and the community together. And I think gardens really, that
Cool.
is what a garden should be. Honestly, growing food is what brings everyone together, right? Primarily.
Right.
Um, so that is sort of my vision. My big vision for that space is to host a lot of workshops to teach people all the skills that I have learned, including like soil blocking, for example, which I just absolutely am in love with now. Also having these tasting parties every summer, inviting people to try these different varieties. Like I do a tomato tasting party every summer where I invite my friends over, and obviously they're not so passionate about tomatoes as I am, but we have everything from the Cherokee purple to a pineapple tomato to Aunt Ruby's green German tomato, for example, and all these different varieties, black cherry, sun gold, super sweet 100, and so many more. But we put it together on a platter and everybody, picks what they want to eat. We slice it up and, everybody rates which is their favorite tomato. If you have a lot of shishito peppers, I'd probably have some, grilled shishito peppers and garlic and soy sauce on the side with that. And sometimes some companies are so nice. Like I know one of the companies, one time they sent us some free ice cream as well for this party, and it was just an amazing experience. So I want to use a garden as a place to teach, as a place to share, as a place to gather. And I think that's, yeah, just like what Adventures with Me and T just said right there. It's bringing the community together. That's exactly what the garden should be all about. And I've also been so lucky to be part of Duke Farms, which is a community garden. And it's one of the largest allotment style community gardens in North America. 3,000 acres, literally, is how big it is. It's insane.
Oh,
And
wow.
they have an
Whoa.
education center, they have a cafe, they have giving gardens over there where the gardeners themselves, like myself, we volunteer over there to take care of the giving gardens. We get together every Tuesday just to kind of sort and weigh the produce and drop it off at various food banks and food pantries and charities and people who need it. But it kind of creates this thing where it's not just you keep some for yourself, but you also share, and you share your knowledge and create this community. And that's how communities are built, by sharing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
I
I
love
I I,
that.
lo- I love that. Next Saturday, I'm going to be with our buddy Garden Marcus. We're doing a little. They have their annual gala for it's a nonprofit called Harvest for the Hungry, and I've done some stuff with them. And Marcus and I are going to be speaking at that, and it's going to be so much fun. I finally get to meet Marcus in person. We live in the same city, but I've never met Garden Marcus in person. But they donate all the food they grow to a food bank right there in the area. I love. I was gonna Phil this weekend. I got to give away. I gave 5 fig trees that needed a home to an older gentleman who lives behind my father-in-law. Um, my fig trees, once they get too big for pots, they got to go to someone's house and they got to go on the ground. And I can't keep them all on the ground in my house. And so I was happy to give those to him. Um, but it is so great giving back some of that stuff because you can't keep everything. You can't eat everything. You can only
No.
can so much. My wife did 139 jars of pepper jelly this Saturday. 139 jars of pepper. And I tell you what, jars are expensive now. Jars are so expensive now. She found them on clearance somewhere and she paid like $10 for a 12 pack, and that's a good deal. That's a
Yeah.
pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Um, but I want to go back to what you were talking about, the soil blocks. How did you get converted to a soil block believer? I know how we got converted, but what have you always been soil blocking, or did you get converted?
No, I think gardening is a journey. When I started off, The first time I started gardening was in those peat pellets, those round little discs that you get, Jiffy
Mhm.
peat pellets. And I didn't know better. I didn't know much about, peat moss and its impact on the environment and what's happening. Because I guess when you're starting out, you don't have as much knowledge available. And so you do the best you can and you just get started. And so I started with those peat pellets, and then I upgraded and I said, you know what, I'm going to get onto those solo cups, and that's again plastic. And then the more you garden, I guess you get more in touch with what's happening to our planet and the climate and the environment. And it's not just the plastic in the ocean, but how it's affecting people, including those microplastics and nanoplastics, etc. So it's a journey. So I went from peat pellets to the solo cups, and then I was like, okay, this isn't so good. Now that I know better, I should really try. If I don't try, I'll never learn. And everybody makes mistakes. It's not going to be perfect, and it is an investment, no doubt about it. But soil blocking, I did it once and I'm hooked. That's it. I'm like, I'm not going back. And in fact, I don't even use the 10, 20 trays anymore. I use those baking sheets. I buy them in bulk. Literally the baking trays, and they have a little lip. So it's just perfect. Even if you want to, water your soil blocks, you just have like this watering can with a tiny little nose or a spout, and it's easy to water, and they love it. The plants are so healthy. There is no difference whatsoever. In fact, I think they're more healthy when they're air pruned, for example, with soil blocking.
Yep.
And I'm a convert.
So here's something. Here's something that's going to be a game changer for you on the pans. We had our buddy Sean on last week, and he makes his little trays out of cedar pickets, and he will put the cedar pickets into like a pan of water, and
Okay.
it'll absorb the water, and so he can be gone for a couple days, and the blocks can absorb the water through the trays.
Wow.
through the
Yeah.
wood in the trays, so that it soaks
Yes,
through. Yeah,
yes.
that was a cool idea.
So he's
It
making them
was
out of cedar pickets.
Wow, there's so many creative people in gardening, I
Yeah.
tell you, that do such phenomenal things and inspire us all. But that's impressive.
Yeah, well, and what's even cooler is he gives it the plans for free on his site, the Mindful Farmer Arkansas. You can go on his site, and he has all the plans for that for free. He shows you the cut sheet and everything. Yeah, you can make. I think like I went and bought some cedar pickets this past weekend. I think I paid $4 for a 6 foot piece. I mean, so for $8 you can make like 6 or 8 of those trays, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna definitely have to try that out
Yeah.
this for next spring. But soil blocking, yeah, I mean Phil's sold on it. Josh, have you tried it out yet?
I was
I'm
so
being
sold on it.
converted. You all are converting me this season, so I'm gonna have to get one. I've been
'Cause-
doing the plastic and the reusable trays, that are like hardened plastic, so I'm not just tossing the thin stuff out. But yeah, pretty much sold after y'all. Told me about that.
Josh, if you're just getting started, I know a lot of people, they have those different sizes that you go from a tiny soil block and then you have to put it into a larger one and then you put it into a bigger, soil block. Mine, I just started with a 2 inch by 2 inch soil blocker. And I think if you're just getting started, that's a good standard size where it's not too small, it's not too big, and you can even grow your cucumber seedlings, which can grow pretty massive, or your zucchini seedlings, right?
Mhm.
For example, in those. So 2 inch by 2 inch is like a good place to start. And then, of course, you can buy all the other sizes if you're converted.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's good advice.
I
Thanks.
agree. That's exactly what I did. And even like what was I growing? The birdhouse gourds. I like was
Wow.
able, I did that in a soil block, and the seeds are big, right? You're like, stay in, don't break the thing, and it held together. And now they're growing like crazy. But it's so nice because you don't have to like water the leaves on them. You can just water the trays they're in, and
Totally.
it was just like so convenient. And they grow like crazy. I even said to myself, I'm like, I think I'm a little late for tomatoes, even for down here in the South. And then now they're a foot tall. I'm like, nope, this is happening. That was fast. That was
Yeah.
cool.
And one of
I'm
the The big plus is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, my DoorDash was here. I had to go pick it up but I overheard what you said about the sizes. I wouldn't if I'm being honest with everybody, I wouldn't even bother with the little ones. They
Yep.
dry out
That's
so
what Resh was just
fast.
saying.
Yeah, 2x2 is just get 2x2 and then you can get the bigger one, the 4x4. But I wouldn't even bother with the little ones at all.
Yeah.
They dry out way too fast.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question here. Have you all ever
Yeah.
grown
Kohlrabi.
kohlrabi?
Yes,
I haven't
I
tried
have.
it yet. And what
It's
are your
good.
thoughts on the taste?
I'm
It's
okay
a
on the
cabbage, it's like
taste.
cabbage flavor, right?
Make sure you shave that bulb out because there's little hard pieces at the base of those stems that I found out the hard way when you're dicing it up. But it's quite sweet actually. But if you can shave that to that bulb and then dice that up, I did it in a stir fry, but it was pretty good.
I'm sure Raish has grown it.
Yeah, no, I haven't grown kohlrabi. I
Oh,
would
really?
say I haven't because I like to grow. I would say 95% of the things I grow is what I love to eat. I did try experimenting a little bit, and I always experiment with something different every year in my garden, at least one or two things. I know one year I did try turnips, and I wasn't a fan, but I
Oh,
know,
really?
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of turnips. But I know kohlrabi. One of my friends, she actually pickles the kohlrabi and swears by it.
Ooh.
Like, yeah, yeah,
I've heard of people making kimchi and like fermenting it and all kinds of
yeah.
like lacto fermenting like stuff like because you can make kimchi out of like pretty much everything, right? Like it's just the lacto fermentation version of whatever. But like kohlrabi is like a cabbage, right? Kind of like a cabbage.
Sort of. Yeah, it's a kind of a
Yeah.
cabbage. It's like a brassica basically. And yeah, I haven't made kimchi, but I'm growing Napa cabbage this year in my fall garden. To try
Yes.
and make kimchi.
There
That
you go.
stuff looks
Sounds
so
so
good.
good.
I'm a huge kimchi fan, and like,
Love kimchi.
I hope you make awesome kimchi because it's.
I hope
if
so
you
too.
can find, like, some,
Thank you.
yeah. And the other thing is like I grew up, and my dad's side is very Italian, but my mom's side is very German, English and German, Pennsylvania, but way back. And so I grew up as a big sauerkraut guy growing up. Like pork and sauerkraut was a big thing we had in our house, and I would love to get into sauerkraut too. So this lacto fermentation. Yeah, I think that's more of a traditional cabbage that they're making sauerkraut out of. But
I could
man, if you get
definitely
that
see
Napa
Phil doing
cabbage,
some
Resh, that
sauerkraut.
I got to see that because that
Oh
stuff
my
looks
God,
so
I'm
good.
so excited. I'm growing Napa cabbage just for the kimchi to try and make that. And I'm growing lots. Actually, I have way too many cabbage plants, and that's one of the things. I have so much space. And then my soil blocks, I grew all those cabbages and they all germinated. And I'm like, oh, I have the space. I might as well just plant it. But except I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm going to do with all those cabbages. So we'll see.
You're
Maybe
gonna have to get your tomato party is gonna be a cabbage party, and then you
cabbage.
can segue it into a kimchi party.
I
Done.
don't know how many people want to eat that much cabbage.
My
Sounds like a
wife
lot.
my wife loves cabbage. I'm not a cabbage person. I do love Brussels sprouts though. I don't know why. I love Brussels sprouts, but I don't like cabbage. But my wife does something. She calls it like chow chow, and it's basically you take the whole kitchen sink and cabbage, corn, all kinds of stuff, and you can it, and it smells like hot garbage. But she loves it. She loves it. So to me, to
But
me
it
it
tastes
smells like when you
amazing.
clean out
It's
when you
not.
clean out the fridge and put everything in the trash can. That's what it smells like to me. Like I don't know. I'm a smell guy.
It's a southern treat. You put chow chow on anything. You can put it on a hot dog like relish. You can put it on mashed potatoes. You can put it on meat. Chow,
Yeah,
we love chow chow here.
but like you were saying, you can make chow chow like pretty much whatever you have left over, pretty much like whatever you want. But it's mostly
It sounds like
cabbage, corn.
sauerkraut with extra stuff in it.
It's yeah, but it's pickled. It's not like it's
It's
just
not. It's got it.
is it pickled, Josh? Is it?
Yeah, it's pickled. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
got
could
you.
grab a jar if you want me to show it to you, but
If you yeah, well, maybe do a video on that because that'd be
Yeah,
a
there
cool
you
one
go.
to do.
Yeah.
But you know, Destin, one of the things with cabbages, I don't love cabbages so much. But if you take up a whole head of cabbage, even like purple cabbage, like red cabbage, red acre is what I grow, and slice it up or shred it, whatever you call that, just take a little tiny bit of olive oil, dump all that cabbage in, and just, put a lid on and steam it and cook it so it becomes a little bit soft, not completely you know not completely wilted, but a little bit soft to take that crunch out. And then I make the most amazing, those rice paper Vietnamese vegetable rolls. Oh my God,
Oh,
it's so good. So you put in this shredded, softened up cabbage, shredded carrots, cucumbers, and whatever protein that you want. Roll it up in that, you get those rice paper wrappers that you literally dip in warm water for 10 seconds and they're soft. And you put
yep.
all these veggies and your protein in it, roll it up, and you make a nice little dip with soy sauce, garlic,
Like a spring
or even
roll.
chili
It's
crunch
like a,
if you
Or you could
like it.
like
Yeah,
yeah, like the fresh rolls from Vietnamese. You make like a peanut
exactly.
sauce.
Like
That
soy
sounds
sauce,
You,
garlic,
you need
chili,
to start a
chili
you
gosh.
need to start a bed and breakfast or something and serve these dishes
you
because
need to start
I
a,
would
cook,
I'm
go
getting
to
so
bed.
cooking
hungry just
channel. A
listening to all
cooking
these.
channel sounds great, Rachel.
Well,
Like,
I know.
I don't film so much of cooking stuff. I just feel like people want to, watch more gardening things. So, yeah.
the best way I've had cabbage when I have eaten is with, like my grandpa's girlfriend. Happy birthday, grandpa! It's my grandpa's birthday. But
Happy birthday,
she,
Grandpa.
she'll make cabbage rolls where she takes like hamburger meat and spices. It's like a German dish, I guess. But she'll take the leaves and wrap like hamburger meats like that in there, and it's kind of like that. I've also had fried cabbage, like a cut the cabbage like a steak almost, like, and they lightly fry it
Grill
up, kind of
it.
crisp. Yeah, kind of like that. It's been pretty good.
Okay.
Me, like I'm a texture guy. I'm a texture and a smell guy, and I have grown so much from my picky eating ways. Like where I eat Brussels
You
sprouts
have
several times a week. I've expanded my taste
palate.
buds a lot since started gardening. Like it's,
It's
I grew up
impressive.
on hamburger helper and macaroni. I mean, so like with a single dad who didn't know how to cook. So like my taste buds have evolved considerably. And I told myself if I grow it, I want to go. If I grow it, I want to try to eat it. Like this year, something that I'm excited about, which I guess it wouldn't necessarily be a fall crop, but I started artichokes from seed in the spring. I put them in the freezer for like the seeds themselves to stratify for like 6 weeks, and I planted the seeds, and a lot of them came up, and then I put them out before the last freeze because they need to experience a frost to put out a flower. Which I guess a couple little light frost wasn't enough. But they're perennials down here, so I've got like 5 or 6 of them. They grow big and they haven't died. Like they haven't died back completely. I've kind of mulched over them a little bit. I'm excited to see them come back in the spring or come back and see what happens with them. Because I've
Hmm.
never, I've actually never even tasted artichoke.
Oh my
I don't think
gosh.
I've, I don't think I've
They're,
ever even. I don't
they're,
think I've ever eaten it. Well, I've
you
had like
know,
dip, the artichoke dip. Like that's different, I guess.
the flowers, the artichoke plant, the flowers are gorgeous.
They're really pretty.
So I'm not a huge artichoke fan because it does take a lot of prep because the plants can be kind of thorny as well. So you do need to peel it back and, use the inside flesh. But a couple of years ago, I went to Napa, to California, and that place, it's like not just like grapes, but it's artichoke heaven, literally. They grow like weeds over there. So everywhere there's like this beautiful lavender, artichokes, and of course grapes, vineyards. But it's a
Yeah,
beautiful plant.
well, they're great for pollinators. People even put them like in bouquets. And like you were saying, they are prickly. They're in the thistle family. They're actually in the thistle family, so it's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Like the big think of like a thistle flower, but like 5 times as big. Like that's how the bumblebees go nuts for them. Like I figured I would just grow them as perennials in little beds around my yard, but like they get pretty big. They get pretty big, and they will seed themselves. So I come to
Yeah,
find out.
yeah.
But
It'll be
yeah,
fun. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So what all have you got in the garden already? So you got your fall garden going. What are you excited the most about growing this fall, winter?
So I have my fall garden pretty much planted out, but I'm still going to, I'm one of those people. I'm not like a person that one day you go into a garden with like all your plants and plant it out in one day. I'm like, Phil, you said succession planting, especially if you're
Mhm.
in the Northeast, because you can't eat so much food. Like there's only this much lettuce or this much of anything that you can have. So you want to stagger your planting. So my garden right now does have the kale, does have the broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, and I'm excited this year actually for fall zucchini. So I grew them in soil blocks and I planted them out August 8th. No, just about a little over 3 weeks ago. And it already has flowers and, small little zucchini. So I was skeptical. I was like, will I get a zucchini harvest before the frost comes? Because typically it takes like 55 to 65 days, they say. So I was like, fingers crossed. But you know what? If you never try, you never know. So I do have some zucchini as well in the garden. And I'm going to be planting out some saffron tomorrow, which will be really exciting. I'm very, very excited about that. And then I've planted in some flowers like zinnias, cosmos as well, which have buds on them. So I know it's been late, and typically people think you plant them in spring for your summer garden. But hey, you can plant them in late summer for a fall show as well. So I have, of course, my Napa cabbage, lots of bunching onions, radishes as well, watermelon radish. And then one of my other favorite varieties is called Roxanne radish. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I have not. That's interesting.
So one of the things like I learned early on when I started gardening was going to this nonprofit website. I don't know if you've heard of All America Selection. Have you heard of that? AAS?
No.
I have not. That's interesting.
Okay. You have to look it up. Just Google All America Selection winners. And if you go to their website, you will see, not just for flowers, but including edibles, you will see some of the best performing and easiest to grow varieties. So if you're a newbie to gardening and you don't know,
I've seen this logo before. I
Yes,
didn't know
yes,
what it
that's
meant.
it. That is
On the
it.
seed packages. Okay, that makes sense. That's
So
awesome.
they
Okay.
list out a few varieties in every category, like be it radishes or be it, cucumbers, things like that, melons, and they list out all the, winning, easy to grow varieties that most people have voted and said, you know what, these have performed well for us. And so every year they update that list. So if you're a newbie gardener, huge tip, go look up this nonprofit website, All America Selections winner, and browse through that, through whichever category of plants that you want to grow. I'll tell you some easy to grow varieties. So Roxanne radishes are one of those easy to grow radish variety. Then for cantaloupes, for example, there's Honey Rock, the variety that's easy to grow. Sugar baby watermelon, easy to grow. So instead of just guessing and going out, because everybody has a limited budget to spend on plants, make sure you get the varieties that can give you more bang for your buck, so to speak.
And it breaks it down in your region too. You can go by region to region.
Does it do
This
that?
is
I'm not
fantastic.
sure.
Yeah,
Does
it
it?
gives you an option to check your region too.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
This is a great
This is
reference.
great.
source.
Yeah.
This is real quick before we do Josh's trivia. You mentioned squash. You're in New Jersey. Have you done fried squash flowers, or have you done like the mozzarella squash flowers? Have you done that?
So fried zucchini blossoms, my favorite.
Is it
Oh,
really okay?
listen, there is this really amazing restaurant here, authentic Italian restaurant, family run, called Ama Pizza in New Jersey. Is anybody watching from New Jersey? I'm not affiliated or sponsored, but I love their food. And
Oh, that sounds good.
they have a little garden. They grow seasonal, veggies in there, and it's very garden to table as well from that perspective. Their fried zucchini blossoms, it's the best. And I think they double fry it in beer batter, if I'm not mistaken, which makes it so crunchy. It's not
Sounds so
soft and
good.
soggy. Like literally, you
That
bite into
sounds
the
so
zucchini
good.
flower, and it's like crunch. So good.
And is it just the flour, or do they put the cheese in it? They put the cheese and everything.
They
That
don't.
I have.
I know a
Okay.
lot of people put the cheese in it. They don't put the cheese in it, but they double fry it, I think, in the beer batter or something that makes it so crunchy. It's the best. The
Oh
best.
my God, that
Yeah.
sounds so good. Because I know people I've heard people grow like zucchini and squash just for the flour, like just for stuff like
Listen,
that.
if you guys ever
Really?
come to New Jersey, or head to Ama Pizza.
Oh yeah.
That's
Well,
fun.
and people that complain that, hey, my squash have not produced any female flowers, it's only male flowers. Cut them off and fry them.
That's it.
Cut them off and fry them, just like that.
Love
All
that.
right, Josh, let's do your trivia, dude. I'm sorry.
All right, so Resh, we do a trivia here lately since I jumped on, and basically it's me going around and finding either plants to identify, or last time we did tools, which was sort of random. We did fruit one episode, so I just literally went outside right before the episode, got a bucket, picked some stuff, and it's like, can you identify this plant? And this time I was trying to make it harder because I know how good you are. And I watched your channel and I was like, man, she's so good. I was like, should I do something on like, is this allelopathic? And then nobody would know what that is. So
I have no idea what that means.
I know what it means.
yeah, I watched your videos on fennel. I was like, oh man, that would be like top level quiz
Oh,
stuff.
wait. Okay, real quick, what is allelopathic?
So I'll let Resh, you want to explain it? Because you were the one that did the video on it.
So it's not, it's called allelopathic. And what it is there's certain plants, especially fennel, and I would say sunflower falls into that category as well, which a lot of people don't realize. But when you plant them in your garden or raised bed, it is going to release certain chemicals into the soil, which inhibits the growth of the plants next to it. So
I heard that. Yes.
And it actually does. And I was like, I'm like one of those people, I don't believe it till I actually see it for myself. And I grew fennel in my raised bed. And literally, I'm not joking, I grow peppers in that raised bed every year and I go bonkers. Like I have so many peppers that I have to like make those jars and jars of pickles, like almost like that you were talking about. Last year, when I grew fennel in that raised bed, my pepper plants were stunted, yellow, and so short, did not get any
Wow.
no, none of them. And so
I have a video to make when I get home now.
And so
Now you know? Okay.
So fennel is that one thing, and sunflowers as well. They're allelopathic. Don't grow them in your raised beds.
I didn't know that about sunflowers. No, I do know
not.
about black walnut has juglon in it, and that will prevent certain things from growing underneath it within a range.
Yes. So that's the only one I knew about was black walnuts. Because if you plant anything around a black walnut, good luck. Because it's the toxin in the shell, right?
Something like that. I think it's in the roots. I think it's in the roots. Something about the exchange of chemicals. But,
Interesting.
all right, let's get into trivia.
Yes.
So I basically, to make this harder, instead of showing you the plant, I'm showing you the flower of the plant. Okay, so this is, can you name this plant by the flower? You're going to get these. These are still pretty easy. So this one has clusters of small white flowers, and they grow on this long green stalk, and the whole plant gives off sort of an oniony scent. So you'll see this, and I actually grow these below my fruit trees because they help prevent apple scab on certain apple trees, and they self-seed. And each year I do collect little black seeds out of each of these, and you can actually see it. That's starting to form the black seeds in these little greenish pods there. But can you name this herb?
We should have said we let people in the chat answer first, Rich.
I'm sorry.
You're good. You're fine.
You got it. But what type of chives?
Onion chives, I guess, or is it garlic chives?
Garlic chives. Yep, garlic
So
chives.
you know what you want to do with the chives? Have you ever made chive blossom vinegar?
No.
Oh, this is so cool.
From the blossoms?
Chive blossom vinegar, especially if you have regular chives that have purple flowers and you put them in your white distilled vinegar or apple cider, whatever you like, it turns it into this gorgeous lavender colored vinegar, and it infuses that mild onion garlic flavor. And then you mix that, with your whatever else, your honey, Dijon mustard, A+.
That sounds amazing. That's just like
all right.
little, like,
if you can give a recipe per each plant, that's a bonus point. So
I love this.
Okay. All right. This one can actually have purple or white flowers, and I think this one has more whitish flowers. And I don't know if this looks healthy or not healthy, but I think it looks healthy. But this herb puts out really clusters of these little flowers, and the flowers are tiny. I mean, it's sort of hard to see the flowers on this, but this herb is something that you might put in an Italian dish, Phil, or on pizza. But it's got some funny looking flowers to it, and it's actually really popular in Greek and Mediterranean cooking. Some of my favorite Greek restaurants use way too much of this one.
Could you describe the smell?
Oh man.
Those are like the funny flower seed pod things.
It's
Love it.
something that you would put in an olive oil and dip your bread in it and then eat it.
Let's see.
Is it for Phil to answer this?
Phil, what is it? What is it, Phil?
I'm waiting for the comments.
Can
Yeah,
I
it goes
suggest something, Phil? I'll give you a hint. It's
What's
in a
that?
pizza. It's an ingredient in pizza.
Oh no,
seasoning.
I know what it is. I was giving the
chat.
the chat time to catch up.
I'm surprised
But
the chat
I don't
hasn't
see
blown
anybody.
this one
I'm
up.
surprised. It's oregano.
Is
It's
it a
oregano.
specific oregano? Is it there's different? Is it a specific oregano?
Is it a specific? But
this
my
one
oregano is
is-
doing. It's like massive.
This
It's
one's
doing
Greek
thing.
oregano.
Okay.
Is what it is. But I just think it's such funny flowers, the way they all clump together like that. And the flowers themselves are so tiny, you can barely see them. You know, they've got these clusters.
Mhm.
So
What is your favorite
oregano.
use, Resh?
I like Greek oregano. It's fantastic. But I also grew marjoram, which is a cousin of the oregano, but it's got smaller leaves. Like oregano, the leaves are much bigger. So marjoram is like that. And then 2 years ago, I grew from seed za'atar. Yes, oregano. So 2 years ago, I grew za'atar, which is like this herb similar to the oregano as well, but it's amazing in like Arabic dishes, I've heard, especially with it's called labna, which is like a Greek yogurt almost, and you put this za'atar in that, the dried za'atar. Along with salt, and you dip your bread in it, your pita, and it's very, very yummy.
It sounds delicious.
Interesting.
So good.
That is
But, you know, one of
interesting.
the tips with oregano as well as thyme to prevent your herbs from getting very woody, especially the stalks, you know, sometimes they get really dry and brown, is to make sure that you cut off the stems after it flowers. So once you see these flowers, you need to trim and prune your plant, and then it's going to keep putting out new growth. So it doesn't get more and more woody and brown and dry, you know, because sometimes you have those scraggly bits. So
So wait till it flowers.
wait till it flowers. Even lavender flowers, you cut it off and you prune that, you know, and that's how you keep it growing.
The bees will thank you.
all right, this one is pretty easy. I think everybody grows this herb. It's one of the most popular. You'll see 1,000 videos on this one as a great companion plant. I probably gave it away right there, but it sends up these spikes of white flowers that will eventually brown in this pole. And within these little brown clusters are the black seeds, and you can save them. In fact, I've saved a lot of these seeds from this herb and made a pepper out of it. So you can actually get all the black seeds and then sort of grind your own pepper. And there are different types of this herb, and some of them are more peppery than others. But my bees, especially my big carpenter bees, love this, and they fall asleep on it overnight. I go out there, they're sleeping on the flowers on these things. And I think
love seeing
everybody
bees
should
do
know
that. I have like, you ever see those bees on the morning glories and their little bums are hanging out, snoozing in the morning, drinking my coffee. Like, did you have a fun night? You know.
All right,
but-
I think we might have gotten this one in the chat. So,
What
There it
type of
is.
basil is that though?
this is whatever I saved seeds from last year because I don't remember. I get a big Ziploc bag of seeds, like filled with these every year, and then I just throw them back out the next year and get tons.
They just grow back in my gravel every year. I have to.
Amazing.
I never have to.
I just-
I never have to grow them.
I don't
They
have a
get really
dehydrator, but I'm
big.
drying them out in a bowl in my fridge up like the top shelf, and you just mix them up and they're just drying out. So I'm gonna have my own jar this year. I'm really excited because I just grew so much. There's something about herbs, and Resh can probably speak to this, but like I love going out and I'll just like take my hands through it and just like this. And like you just like you get this aromatherapy when you're out there, like and you just like walk around, you eat a tomato like that. It's great.
this is, I grow more herbs than I need to eat them, because you just need, with herbs, you need a little bit, but the smell, it's so good. Like the rosemary, I just like run my hands
Yeah.
through that, and it's so
Yes.
relaxing. It's the
It's
best.
so relaxing.
So much. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Y'all are schooling me on some of these. All right, this one's super easy. I think everybody should know this one. This is a really popular plant to grow in your garden. And I just love the color of the flowers on these. It's a nightshade, and it is a star-shaped purple flower. Probably could guess it without actually even seeing it. But here's what the flower looks like on this popular plant. And there are different types. There's a thicker skinned and a thinner skinned. I'm a fan of the long, thinner skinned of this particular one, but I love the purple flowers, and they're very dainty. They sort of are very subtle and hang downward. I think everybody should. And this plant has gotten to be 6 foot tall this year. That's
No
how
way.
Yes,
How?
it is.
That's a lot. That's
It is
big.
6 foot tall, and I've probably gotten off of one plant about 20 of these types of fruit this season.
See,
It's massive.
Nightshade Farm got it off the bat. Of course, because it's
he
Nightshade
should.
Farm.
He should.
You better. Nightshade, that
Well,
was you. You came to bat and you swung. You hit a homer.
Well, I got thrown off by the description. I got thrown off by the description because I thought we were doing herbs, and so I thought it was gonna be like borage.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
isn't borage a nightshade too?
What is that though?
I think it
haven't
might
heard of
be.
that.
I
think
grow
might
it.
be.
I don't know. It
Because
seems
it
like
has
the
a similar
flower.
flower. And
Yeah.
it does get attacked by the flea beetles as well. It's possible, but a 6 foot tall eggplant, like
I'll
plant.
take a picture of it. It is literally 6 foot tall.
What kind of eggplant was it? Like
one of the Japanese
long?
ones? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I planted it really early. It's still going.
Now, my wife makes a good eggplant sandwich with. You can actually, this eggplant that I really like is the Sicilian eggplant. They're like really round, like this, and kind of like a lighter purple. Dice them up into discs, and then you fry them, and then you slather on pesto on that. And then with the pesto and the fried, then you have tomato and put that on a nice little piece of like focaccia, and that's like a lights out sandwich.
Oh,
Add cheese to your choice.
Borage is not a nightshade. I just found
It's
out.
not. Okay.
No.
But it does have a star-shaped flower that's
It
similar to a
does.
tomato flower. So you might
It
think it would based off that.
Yeah.
All right, last one. This was I didn't know what else to grab. And they're not all herbs. Sorry, Destin. I sort of misled you all.
Not all herbs.
Herbs. We're not British. It's herbs here.
Do you say herbs or herbs, Resh?
To be honest, I say herbs, but I met Martha Stewart 2 months ago at an event in New York, and she schooled us all. She was like, I don't care what you guys say, it's called herbs. That is the only way to say it is herbs. I was like, okay, but I make it silent, and I usually say herbs. So.
Well, you know what? If Martha says herbs,
Martha
it's
says herbs, we better all say herbs.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny.
Dream podcast guest, by the way. Dream podcast guest. Maybe you can hook us up, Brace.
Definitely, we'll try.
I think that would have to be a paid experience.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to pay a lot of.
I've been trying to get her head gardener, and he won't even respond. So
my goodness. I follow him. He's pretty awesome. All right,
yes,
this one is something that is a climbing plant, and I planted it along my fence this year in a part shade, thinking I didn't think it would really set much fruit or veggie, whatever you want to call them. But it did. It put out tons. And in fact, it overtook my entire chain link fence. And what's really cool about these is that they put out both white flowers and little yellow flowers on the same plant, which is surprising. And they have lots of tendrils, and they will climb up things, and you can eat them. In fact, I love just walking around and eating them as I'm walking through my garden. I eat a lot of stuff just out and about. I don't really wash stuff off. I'm not really into that. So I'm more of a let's taste it as it is in nature. A little dirt doesn't hurt you. But yeah, so yellow and white flowers vining. Everybody should know this plant. So easy to grow. And what's really cool is these types of plants will help fix nitrogen in your soil, supposedly.
Giveaway.
Total
Oh,
giveaway.
oh, it looks like we got some answers in there, but is mine know the specific one?
I
It's
know.
not a
See,
butter. It's not a butterfly pea, right? Is it butterfly pea?
oh, it's anyone? Rush?
Beans.
Yeah, just beans. Pole
Just
String
beans.
beans.
Just
Correct.
good old green beans, pole beans, not a bush bean because it's got the vining and the
Tendrils.
tendrils. But it just completely overtook my 6-foot fence about 10 feet wide. I planted a row of them and it's like a big wall of green now. So it's pretty fun.
It must be beautiful though, no?
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's totally awesome. And I have way more than I could possibly eat.
And that is something that if someone wants to plant for fall, they can probably still plant pole beans from seed and probably bush beans and probably still get a crop for the first freeze. I mean, they're pretty quick.
It's so fun
Especially here.
planting beans because it's such a pure from seed. It's such a pure, like everyone knows a bean, like from seed. It's big, it's like significant, and you put it in. I planted them with my daughter, and it was just like such an easy way to conceptualize where things come from versus something that's really small like basil. But oh man, beans
Especially
are
with
good.
your
And
kids, they probably have a good time picking them too, I bet.
oh, they love picking them. I mean, George loves my son loves the carrots. That's his big thing. He loves ripping out the carrots, ripping out the beets, but picking the green beans, and it encourages them to eat it, like how Josh is like, oh, you can eat that. Oh, it's good, Dad. And I was like, I told you, remember that, and things like that. But Josh, I have a question now because you said
Yeah.
supposedly nitrogen fixers, or they are nitrogen fixers with the beets.
You know, here's the thing. And maybe y'all can school me on this, but I think it's something about you have to leave the plant in the ground for it to actually fix the nitrogen. So if you pull the plant out, I'm not sure that it's actually adding nitrogen back in because I think it's the nodules on the roots of the plants. Is it not that actually pull it out of the soil and store it?
They don't actually work with mycorrhizae. They work with bacteria instead of the
Like
fungus.
a cover crop, like you have to till them into the soil, right?
That's what I've heard. So if you just go pull them, didn't fix nothing.
Yeah.
But if I just, what if I snip the tops and then I left the roots in there? That is how we're actually fixing the nitrogen.
Yes.
I believe so.
That's exactly how it does fix the nitrogen. In fact, I had grown soybeans a couple of years ago, and I left, I pulled out some just to see, I read about it. I was like, does it really create those nodules in the roots to fix the nitrogen? So I pulled out one or two by the roots, and you can see these round white little, nodules attached to the roots at different points. And those are actually the nitrogen fixers in the sense that that's where the nitrogen is stored. So anytime you're done with peas, especially, snip them at the base at soil level, let the roots be in the ground so they can, basically dissipate the nitrogen into the soil, basically. So it's great to plant as a cover crop. It's great to plant before you plant any kind of nitrogen hungry plant like leafy greens. So before that, you want to plant a lot of these peas or beans.
That's really interesting.
Wow.
All right. I just took this picture yesterday. So this is the beans. I just planted them in a shady spot. Like it was amazing how they just completely took over the entire fence for 6 foot, like in no time. So they're very fast growing.
I can see the beans hanging as well.
Yeah.
Does anything come nibble on them?
No, I mean I have very few pests on these, so very easy to grow.
That's awesome, dude. Fantastic, man.
Looks good.
Well, that ends trivia, y'all. Thank you so much for playing tonight.
Thank you, Josh.
That's
Great
fun.
job, Josh. Well, man, it's always the trivia has been so much fun. I really appreciate you putting the extra effort, do a little bit of homework for us. It's all I'm waiting for one of these. Hey, this when you start running out of things to for us to guess. Like this is like a bucket of cats. Like can you name this cat? Like this is one of my.
Good
Oh
idea
my
for next
goodness.
episode.
There we go. There we
Or the
go.
possums. Name the possums.
So his name is Earl, you know? Oh my
This
God.
is Earl. Yeah. Or
Well,
like if you spell lava lamp wrong and you end up getting a llama lamp instead because you spelled it wrong. I'm just
that is a fantastic. Well, on that note, Phil, what do you got going on? What you got coming up, dude?
I have Fig Palooza on So the Hobby Greenhouse Club of Wilmington has their awesome plant sale. All the members get to go sell all their things they're passionate about or the things that they've grown this year. And we have 2 plant sales. So it's on Friday and Saturday on Metz Ave in Wilmington, North Carolina. So please stop by and you get to meet our club members and see everything they're growing and buy some of it. Then on Saturday, I have Fig Palooza, where I will be speaking on a topic I haven't fully decided on yet, but I might just wing it. And we are going up to just collaborate on all things figs. It's in North Carolina, in Greenville, North Carolina, called Fig Palooza. And I am really excited for it. And then what do I have coming up? Then I have Figtoberfest in
Dun, dun, dun.
Texas. So that's my other big heavy hitting fig experience. And this one's going to be really fun too.
Yes, and I will tell people I've had some questions. We're doing the plant swap that day. If you want to come and set up a table and sell plants or trade plants, you're more than welcome. You just need to make sure you bring your own table, and you need to email me texasgardenguy@gmail.com just so we can reserve your spot. It is not required to be only figs. If you like, I'm bringing desert roses. I'm gonna bring my merch to sell, so you do not have to just bring figs. If you like I said, I had a lady asking about native milkweeds. Can she come? And I was like, absolutely, you can come and do that. But just know that you gotta bring your own table, chairs. If you got an awning or whatever, just make sure you bring that as well. We will not be responsible for that. But a lot of great talks. I think we are even possibly going to have the fig hunter there.
Whoa.
Yeah. So very exciting. Very exciting. So come on, We'll be in Angleton, Texas. There's a Facebook event page for that. You can find it on my Facebook. Josh, what do you got going on? Why don't you come on, dude?
Let's see. This week got some community garden activities. We're doing our once a month workshops, and this week is all about planting fruit trees. So I'm actually going to be taking some of my trees that I've got just a few extras of down there to plant in our community garden. I'm excited about that. And I'm going to be traveling some more this fall. So I'm going to be visiting some farms and checking out. I've been learning a lot about a concept called regenerative organic agriculture. And so it's something that I've been meeting with some people about, learning about. So you'll see some more content coming out around that topic. I'm really passionate about agrotourism, so you might see some more agrotourist spots like you pick orchards. I'm a big fan of that. So yeah, that's what I got going on. Pretty excited about it, and just always trying to educate and get more content out and learn what people want to see, want to hear about.
Fantastic, dude. Awesome. Miss Rach, what do you have going on besides everything?
Well, I'm excited that I'm going to be featured in the fall issue of Garden Gate magazine. That's going to be coming out pretty soon. So they're going to do like a 4-page article about me and my gardens and everything. So I'm super excited about that. And then I do have a couple of consults because apart from just, the gardens that we design and install in New Jersey and Philadelphia, like Pennsylvania area, I also do offer virtual consults to clients out of state. So I do have 2 consults actually coming up with clients in the Hamptons. So even though I can't go there, it's quite far. So we're going to do some virtual consults and see if, it depends on their budget. If they want me to, come over and do their gardens with the crew, we'll see about that. But I do have some virtual consults, Hamptons, as well as in Dallas, and then in Nashville as well. So I have that going on. And apart from that, yeah, just like I said, planting saffron in my garden tomorrow.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Well, let me know when you come to Dallas because I'm in Dallas right now, actually.
Okay.
So let me know when you come to Dallas. Shoot me those dates, and I'll see if I can't be in here. Maybe we can get lunch or something. That'd be fun. Or I'm learning a lot about the nurseries in the area right now. I was in Waco and in Dallas, south of Dallas today. I'll be in Dallas for the next 3 days. But I've been to like 20 nurseries today, so it was fantastic. A lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff.
So in Waco, did you go see the magnolia?
No, no, I
Grow
didn't.
and all that. It's supposed to be like a tourism almost, right?
Well, it's kind of like Bucky's now. Like you go to
Oh,
Bucky's, it's so packed with like tourists and stuff that it's like, yeah, I go for the clean bathrooms, but I don't even go for the food or anything like that. Like I don't know. I'm sure it's a lot of fun. I would love to go. I think my wife has been, and she stood in line for like an hour to go see something. So like, I don't know. I don't
oh.
know. I'm sure during the week it wouldn't be as bad, but like the weekends, I bet it's pretty crowded. But I would love to
Or
go.
you could go to the wave pool in Waco, Texas, and shred some sweet surf waves because that's what all I think about if I'm going to Waco, Texas.
Really?
Because
Wow.
I'm a big surfer. But anyway, that's in Waco
Yeah.
too.
I'm a germaphobe when it comes to public pools and stuff like that. I don't know, but
Actually, you're talking about your hobbies and your passions. One of the other things that's coming up, which I'm a huge Formula One fan, which I might have mentioned in a previous.
I actually, now that you
yeah,
reminded me of it, I was like, that's right.
yeah.
So this weekend we have the Italian Grand Prix in Monza. So yeah, definitely
Where's
gonna
where's
watch it.
that?
Monza is in Italy.
Oh,
So
you're
yeah,
going to Italy.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
I wish. I wish. I mean, it's like the home of the tifosi, which are, the hardcore Ferrari fans. Yeah, but
gotcha.
it's supposed to be an experience, really. So it's like a bucket list thing to watch a Formula One race in Italy. Yeah.
Hey, you can do it in Dallas. They do it in Dallas, don't they? I'm pretty sure they do.
So in United States now they're expanding a lot Formula One because I guess after the Netflix documentary Drive to Survive came out, there's so many people who got onto F1 bandwagon. So initially, United States had only one racetrack, which was COTA in Austin.
Okay.
So that was the only racetrack. Then they came out with a second one, which was in Miami. Then third one 2 years ago in Las Vegas. So now United States has three Grand Prix every year.
Oh,
Austin, Miami, and Las Vegas is usually in November. But that's where Las Vegas is like the celebrities are there and it's like a show, literally. So
well, you need to talk to your friend Martha and have her friend Snoop Dogg hook it up with like some tickets, and we'll all go to Vegas. We'll all do it.
we'll all go to Vegas, courtesy of Martha. I wish.
Yes.
Never say
Well,
never, no?
well, hey, you never really know. You never know.
Never
You
say
never know.
never. Never say
So.
never. You got to dream big. Why not?
Absolutely, that is a dream guest. That is a dream guest for sure. But we are happy to have you back on. You're welcome back anytime, Race. We love having you on. The time flies. Like time flies, but it really flies when we're with you because it's always a good time. So
Thank you.
thank you very much for being on. And
Yeah, thank you.
we'll,
So nice to
we'll-
meet you too, as well.
yes,
It's a
yes.
pleasure
Um,
to meet you too, Josh. And
yeah,
Phil, you as always, a pleasure to meet you.
Great to see
When can
you.
you come to
Yeah.
New Jersey? I know nobody comes to New Jersey. Everybody's like, let's go to New York. I'm like, come to New Jersey.
I,
We'll have a
I'd rather go to New Jersey than New York. I'd rather go to New Jersey than New York. I'll be honest. And shout out to Des, who she has started school. So there may be weeks where she's on and off a little bit. I think she just was running behind today. So, but she will be back, I believe, next week. Or I don't know. I can look at the schedule. I know she's got a trip to like Washington or something like that. So, but make sure to go follow Gardening with Des. Make sure to follow Resh Gala. She makes it simple and easy. Just Resh Gala on all the platforms. Phil's Figs, Uncle Josh Gardens, the Plant Techie. Follow him, and we'll see y'all next week on the Garden Party. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.